All right, so it is now 5:30, so we will get the Board of Assessors meeting for Wednesday, February 19th, 2025 underway. Unfortunately, Deb Colley is not joining us this evening. She had a prior commitment, so she is not here. So we will just get this going, because although we don't have a lot, I'd like to have Danielle explain the HEROES Act and how it all affects the taxpayers and what it is that needs to be done. So we have no appointments this evening, correct, Danielle? No one's popped in, okay? No correspondence that's shown up, nothing. We do have several things to sign, which we will take care of. We do have the minutes to review, accept, and approve the open session of February 5th, 2025. So I'll entertain a motion to accept and approve the minutes of February 5th, 2025, if there are no questions.
Second.
You make a motion?
Oh, I thought you made it. Make a motion to accept the minutes from Wednesday, February 5th, 2025.
All right, since Deb is not here, I will second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, okay. We have nothing under old business. But under new business, as I just mentioned, we have an optional statutory exemptions for veterans through the HEROES Act. And it's on our agenda tonight to discuss and vote. It is a little complicated, so Danielle, if you could explain the spreadsheet that you've given us for tonight, so that we can have an educated conversation and vote on this, so that anybody that does watch this meeting, they can go to town meeting and vote appropriately and accordingly, so that they understand.
Okay, so there was some recent legislation, it's called the HERO Act, and it's to empower and recognize our servicemen and veterans. So one of the things that it did is give disabled veterans, 100% disabled veterans, we can actually now abate their excise tax, because there was a little discrepancy in disabled veteran plates versus 100% disabled veterans. So that went through, and we've already begun that process in our office. When someone comes in with their 100% disabled letter for their statutory exemption, we inform them also that they can get their motor vehicle excise abated, and we go ahead and do that with the information they give us for their exemption anyways. So that has been in motion in our office since this was passed. But now there's also this optional element that was put in, and it has to do with the exemptions that we offer. So there's one called the 22I, and with that, it's a cost of living adjustment. So the way we've done exemptions in West Bridgewater is that generally the 22 clause, it's $400 in the first year of the exemption, and then at town meeting we ask for all of our exemptions to go up by 25%, and it has been voted on at town meeting in a positive way over the years, so then we can increase that amount by 25% and we apply it to all of our exemptions. So instead of $400 after the first year, the 22 clause gets $500 in exempted money off their tax bill, and then the 22A gets $937.50, and the 22Es get $1,250. Now, if we do go with the 22I, I was told by DLS law that we can't go with that 25% more increase and then do the cost of living off of that. So we have to go back down to the original numbers. So that's $400, $750, and $1,000 for those clauses I just mentioned. So in the example that I gave you, this last cost of living adjustment given by the state was 3.4%. So in that next column where it says hypothetical 22I COLA 3.4%, that's with that exemption in motion, what the amounts would be. So the 400 goes to $413.60, the 750 goes to $775.50, and the 1,000 goes to $1,034. So we can at town meeting present that and have just the cost of living exemption in our town. We can also do a 22J exemption, and with that we can exempt anything, any amount, up to 100% on the exemption. So like I said before, we were doing 25% for all veterans and for all exemptions that we offer in the town. So in my examples I did 25%, 50%, 75%, and 100% to get an idea of the financial impact from the taxpayers, also known as our overlay account of where these exemptions come out from. So if you look at our example here in the first year, so in this yellow column where it says 2024 taxpayer total, we paid about $20,262 out of our overlay for all the exemptions that were granted. If we did the cost of living increase and then the 25% on top of that, we would have paid $21,832 out of our overlay, which is about $1,570 increase. If we did a 50% instead of the 25%, that's that next column. So it's showing that the total out of that would have been about $31,384. So that's an increase of $11,121 out of our overlay. And then if we did it at 75%, the total would have been $40,936, which is about $20,673 out of our overlay. And if we matched it at the 100%, then it would have been $50,487 out of our overlay, which is about $30,225 difference from what we actually did in 24. So then I just continued it out and did year 2, year 3, and year 4, just because the cost of living adjustment would keep increasing. So even if we kept it at 25% or 50%, we'd still do that cost of living increase too, or have the option to do that. So if we continue that, I just put in the numbers for that.
Okay.
And the cost of living does change from year to year. I noted at the bottom that for fiscal 25 it was 3.4, but in fiscal 24 it was 6.5, and in fiscal 23 it was 7%, and in fiscal 22 it was 1.4. So it does vary pretty significantly, and we don't know what that will be until the guidelines come out in about March or April each year.
Right.
All right, and this, the HEROES Act, for that exemption, that is anything of that reimbursed by the state, or is that 100% funded by the taxpayer?
So these both are optional, so if the town does vote to do it, then it comes only out of our overlay. They do reimburse those original amounts that we have been receiving, but that's all that they will contribute to it. So anything additional is optional, and there's no reimbursement for it.
Okay. So, it's a lot of numbers to think about here.
It is.
It's a lot of information, so.
Yes. Well, it is, and I know I've looked at this a few times, but every time you look at it, you think of different what ifs, and the cost of living is always. Now, with this, the taxpayers, we're gonna vote on it at town meeting, and let's just say hypothetically, they decide to go at the 50%, we'll just pick the middle one.
Mhm.
Can that be changed in another year?
Yes, it could be changed at another town meeting, yes.
Okay, so it's not something that's just locked in and that becomes, it's just an option that we can continue it at a different amount, we can
Correct.
stop it, we can
Mhm.
do whatever, okay. That's something important to know too. What are your thoughts on it, Daniela?
I don't particularly have an opinion on it. I just wanted to put out facts and see what everyone thought about it.
Yeah, no, I was curious on your opinion because you are a resident here as well. I absolutely support our veterans, and there's no doubt they've done amazing things for this country, and they've sacrificed a lot for us, for people that they don't even know. I have family that's in the military, so I have the utmost respect for these people. My biggest concern is if we did 100% with the upcoming water increases, potential new school. I mean, and last I heard, the new school was over 200 million. And the water increases with the plants and the treatments and all of the pipes breaking that have to be replaced that are over 100 years old, water rates are gonna go up even more. So on one hand, it's great to help the veterans because they absolutely deserve more, any assistance that we can give them. But then we look at the seniors who are paying for all of these other things as well. And they do have some exemptions that they get, but those are all based on income, correct? For the seniors?
So we have a 17D, which is age 70 and older, and that one is less money. It's 175 in the first year, and then with the 25%, it goes to 218.75. And that one does not look at income, but the assets have a cap. It's $68,438 this year, not including their house, but any other assets. And then we have the 41C, which is also for 70 and older. That one does look at income and assets, but it's considered the low income one. So if you do reach those qualifications, it offers more. It's $500 in the first year, $625 if it goes up to the 25% each year.
Good. Good information to have and to share. Just refresh my memory, for the senior work-off, what is the criteria for that?
I don't know because the Council on Aging oversees the actual program. We just fund it. I'm not sure I know they look at income and assets for that as well, but I don't know what their limits
What
are.
their dollar amount, okay. Nope, that's fine. I was just curious, because I thought most of the senior stuff was all based on income.
Right, I believe it is, yeah.
Okay. So go back to this. With all of this upcoming stuff, I think it's hard. It's hard to go for the 100%. I would say the 25% would be where I would be comfortable at. That would be, me as a resident, as a taxpayer, and also looking at the fact that whatever we suggest out there, and again, it's not that the veterans don't deserve everything you can possibly give them, but my personal thing is we have to think about everybody and how our decisions and our suggestions affect the entire town, not just a select group. I would look at the 25%, and depending on how things go going forward, look at increasing it, which is what you said we can do at any time through town meeting.
So would you be in favor of the cost of living and then 25% on top of that?
I would.
That's okay.
Cheryl, what do you think?
Well, I agree with what you said. I think the veterans deserve everything they can get. I would just vote, I'm gonna vote for it and let the selectmen decide on what the...
It'd have to get placed on the warrant for town meeting.
Yeah, and then they
I
would decide what
assume
would...
that the selectmen could make a recommendation as well.
Yeah, that's the way I would go.
Which,
I would vote, I'm gonna vote yes, that we should have it for that we should enact this HEROES Act. We should go by what the rules say on it, but I would let the selectmen decide the amounts, the percentages.
Percentage, the
That's what I would do.
22J. And you were in favor of the cost of living?
Yes.
And then have the selectmen decide on the...
Yes, that's how I would do it.
so you're looking at 100% taxpayer without the 100% versus 50 or 25? I'm confused.
I would just let them decide the percentage. I can't make a decision on what the percentage, whatever they would decide is what they would put on the warrant, I believe. Is that right?
Well, I think the final decision is theirs anyway.
Right.
This is just...
That's why we either vote yes or, we're not voting, we just
Recommending.
give our recommendation, so that's how I would go with it.
My recommendation would be 25% and then revisit it, depending on how everything in the town's going and how much everyone's already getting hit with additional taxes, because I'm sure the new school goes through, the water stuff all happens. You know, foreclosures are up. If anybody happens to look at real estate, there's more foreclosures the last year in West Bridgewater than I've seen in quite a while.
Hmm.
You know, and they're not all of the small houses. They're over Harvestwood, there's some of the Farm Road projects over that way. So it's not just the seniors getting hit, it's families here in town. So I think, you know, me personally, I think we have to be conscious of what we're doing to everybody. So you do not want to recommend an amount.
No.
I recommend 25. So I think a vote is going to go nowhere since we each have
Different opinion here.
So I mean, we can just advise the selectmen that we have no vote and just that we each have. I mean, we do agree that
That's right.
yes, we
agree.
should do something.
Yes.
And I'm sure Deb, if she was here, she would be in favor of having this on as well. Being a veteran herself. So I guess you can just kind of let the selectmen know that we don't have, because I think that's why they wanted this on here, was to get the feel for a number, is my impression. So I mean, you can just let them know that we have two separate opinions.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and we'll just go with it at that, you know, we do agree that it's something that should go, but how to present it to them is,
Right.
you know, we have different views.
Okay.
So, the vote is no vote. Okay. Anything else you want to throw in on the HEROES Act? That was a very good explanation of it,
Yes.
so,
No,
Thank you.
I think that is all.
all right. And then just ad-libbing here for a moment. We did go to the budgets with the selectmen
Oh,
last
you
night.
did?
Seemed to go fine. Couple small questions, nothing exciting. And I know you had reached out to the software company. Did you ever
I
happen
did.
to get a response back from them yet?
Not yet, not today.
Okay. All right, so we'll just have to wait on that then.
Yeah, hopefully by tomorrow.
Yeah, well, that would be good. So then at least that way, when we go to FinCom, we can have answers to those questions, although FinCom may not ask them, we can at least bring them up. And then once we do get them, we can just send an email or something to the selectman's office just to answer those questions that they had. They were just asking about the contract and
Mm-hmm.
if, you know, you get a good rate the first year and the next year they croak you on the amount. But I don't think that would be the case with this type of thing. I'm assuming it's pretty stable,
It's established, yeah.
you know, type of thing. But it's best to get that in writing so we
Mhm.
can answer any questions that may pop up.
Right.
So, and I think that then, do you have anything you want to throw in?
No, I'm all set.
All right, do you get anything else there, Daniela?
I do not.
Mary, how about you, anything? All right. Okay, well, we do have no public for our public comment period. So with that being said, time is now 5:48 p.m. So we are going to adjourn the open session portion of our meeting and enter into executive session. So is there a motion to end executive session?
I'll make the motion to end executive session.
All right, and since Deb is not here, I will second. And I will do a roll call vote then to go into open session, not to reconvene, to go into executive session, not to reconvene in open session at the conclusion. Cheryl?
Aye.
All right, and I agree, we'll go into executive session, not to reconvene into open session.